This is my Porsche 911 996. And as you can see, it's missing a vital part. It is in full James Bond spec. We've had the engine out, we've whipped the heads off.
Oh, that's on there. Oh, that's coming, buggered if it ain't. Them Germans ain't so clever.
We know it's got bore score. And ever since then, I kicked this puppy into touch. I didn't want to look at it.
Peeling off the post-it notes from my 996 that my little brother has cranked me so hard on.
Well, I've got to crack on with it now. Today's the day. So, we are going to split these cases open. We're going to expose every problem inside, and we're going to start making some moves today to get this puppy back on the road, because spring is here, the sun is out, and I want to drive this shed. So, let's get on with it. And also the wife wants to go on holiday next month, and I've got to figure out how to pay for it all. Harry set to work undoing all the sump bolts, while I did battle with a plastic oil filter housing, which should have been done up to about 25 Newton meters. But, like most parts on this Porsche so far, it had clearly been given all the ugger-duggers. So it turned into a bit of a balancing act, trying to apply enough torque to crack it loose, while not snapping the probably very brittle plastic housing. And after a bit of careful persuasion and some teamwork, we finally got it to move.
So,
Well, it ain't been done 25 metres, let's put it like that. I just see a £300 bill coming for plastic Porsche oil filter housing. And with that out of the way, we could start removing the sump. Now this was a point where things usually start to tell a story, because whatever has been going on inside the engine eventually ends up down here. Bits of bearing, sealant, metal, glitter, you name it. As the sump comes off, we're about to get our first real look at how healthy or unhealthy the engine actually is, and whether this rebuild is going to be more straightforward or a whole lot more painful.
Take out all these.
yeah, let's just look and see what size they were.
Next job was removing the 3 oil pickup tubes from the bottom of the engine. The M96 actually uses a few different pickups as part of its dry stump style oiling system. One main pickup that feeds the oil pump, and a couple of scavenge pickups that pull oil from the different parts of the crankcase. So while they're out, it's a good chance to give them a quick inspection and make sure everything looks healthy. Each one seals in the block with a set of O-rings, and like most rubber parts inside an old engine, these tend to go hard over time. So regardless of how they look, all of these will be getting replaced during the rebuild. It's a small detail, but when it comes to engines, oil pressure is everything, so it's not something you want to take chances with. Next job was undoing the external bolts that hold the timing chain guides in place. Inside the M96 engine, there are 3 main plastic guide rails that the timing chain runs against, and they're kept in position by the bolts that come through the outside of the crankcase. Before you can split the engine cases, these all need to come out. The guides themselves are made of plastic, which works well for keeping the chains quiet, but after 20 odd years they can start to get brittle and wear down. So while we're this far into the engine, it makes sense to pull them out and inspect everything properly. With those bolts removed, the guides can slide free. And that's another step closer to getting these cases apart and seeing what's actually going wrong inside this engine.
That's loose.
Next up was the 3 bolts that hold the IMS bearing, flange and oil seal. Now we're not pulling the IMS bearing out at this stage, we don't need to. But this little flange sits right here on the back of the engine and it ties into the case halves. So if we want these cases to split, it has to be unbolted. It's only 3 bolts, but it's an important step because behind it is that sealing ring that keeps the oil where it should be. So we crack those 3 bolts loose, pull the flange free, and that's one more thing off the list before we can finally start separating the cases. Now we're finally on to unbolting the crankcase itself, and there are a lot more bolts than you might expect. On the M96 there are around 35 odd fasteners holding the case halves together, a mix of perimeter bolts and long through bolts that run right across the engine, tying the whole bottom end together. So the job now is basically working our way methodically around the engine and cracking every single one of those loose. But before we could go too far, we ran into another problem. The engine was bolted to the engine stand through both halves of the crankcase, and the half we need to remove is the one that's actually supporting half the weight. So if we just undo it, the whole thing's going to try and drop. To get around that, we had to disconnect half of the engine stand and brace the engine from underneath. In true workshop fashion, we ended up using a pump-up hydraulic trolley, basically a sack barrow with a lift on it, to support the engine while we worked. Once the weight was supported, we could carry on undoing and removing the rest of the case bolts. And finally, we're getting closer.
Right, tabs.
Yeah, I saw them.
With all the bolts finally out, it was time to try and separate the case halves. Porsche actually cast a few little tabs into the outside of the crankcases for exactly this job. So we each grabbed a lever bar and carefully started easing against those tabs. The key here is taking it slowly. You don't want to damage the mating surfaces or force anything. And once that seal finally lets go, you know you're about to get your first proper look inside the engine.
Woohoo! Right on the wood. Well, the pistons have seen better days.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Look at that.
We'll get the camera in and have a look at them. So that's what we're dealing with on the pistons. This is the bad side, but look at the stainless skirts. Completely gone. All 3 of them. The other side, we still have the coating on them, but it's just starting to wear it off in the middle, and that's what they should look like. I'd be happy if they look like that. But we've gone from that to that. Very good. Now we've got to lift the case out. And this is the IMS bearing here. So we've got 2 chains, and then we've got the shaft that runs through to the secondary, to the second head, the cam chain. So I believe we just pick it up and lift the whole lot out in one go, and we should be free. There we go, that's what the inside of a Porsche engine looks like. So then the crankshaft comes out with these, there's basically a skeleton case, thick aluminium case on it. So this all lifts out, and then we split this case in 2. Well, we take the rods out first and the pistons, and then we can split this case in 2 to reveal the crankshaft inside. It's kind of neat, but flip me, it's pretty OTT. Easiest bit is taking it apart, it's putting it back together. Right, let's see how we go. I'll put you back up here. I'm on my own now. and we'll see if we can get this out. Too flipping heavy. Undo them bolts.
Next job was removing the rear main seal and the front crankshaft seal from the engine. Both of these seals do the same basic job. They keep the engine oil inside the crankcases while the crankshaft spins through them. The rear main seal sits at the flywheel end of the engine, and the front crank seal lives at the pulley end.
Rear main seal out.
So once they're both out, the crankshaft is completely free of its external seals. So the next step sounded pretty simple. Just lift the crankcase and skeleton carrier out of the second case. Except, well, it didn't move. After a couple of tugs and a bit of inventive levering, I realised what I'd done. I'd forgotten to undo 2 bolts in the case. There are actually 3 bolts that hold the crank carrier or skeleton down into the engine case, and I'd only taken one of them out. So I tipped the engine case up on its side, and sure enough, there they were. Once those 2 bolts were finally undone, the whole assembly began to come free. Now the skeleton, with the crankshaft, rods and pistons all still fitted, weighs somewhere around 35 to 40 kilos, and it's not exactly the easiest thing to grab hold of, especially when it's covered in old engine oil. Eventually I realised I wasn't going to be able to lift it straight up, mainly because I'm an old farrier with a bad back. So I flipped the engine onto its side and again tried to lever the skeleton out sideways instead. It was all going well, until it wasn't, and in the end it sort of fell apart in a bit of a heap. Not exactly how I'd imagined it happening, a bit messy, but achieved the objective. The engine was finally in 2 halves. I guess that's one way of doing it. So with the case halves apart, the next job was just to give them a good clean and degrease. Years of oil and grime make it hard to see what's going on, so once they're cleaned up we can properly inspect the castings, check for any damage before we move on.
This will be bank 1. So pretty good, still got the coating on the skirt. And on the other side as well. It's not too bad, but it is a little worn. So a lot more heavily worn on the top side. So there we go. This is IMS. IMS bearings on the end here. That's the puppy that causes all the problems. This is the IMS shaft. And it feeds a cam change at the other end. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is get those casings cleaned up. I'm going to chuck them in my truck, and tomorrow we're taking them over to a company after I finish work, local engineering company, get them to have a look at them and see about we've got to do new sleeves and we've got to do new pistons. So sadly the engine fix that I thought was going to be cheap is now we're into this. We are fully invested. So we've got a pile of bits. I think the gasket kit alone for these is about 500 quid for all the gaskets and seals and flipping O-rings that we're going to need. And then yeah, we're into a full engine rebuild, so that's where we are. Well, there we go. There's the latest update on the 996. It's got a little out of hand, but thanks for watching. Please, if you haven't done so already, remember to like and subscribe and ring the bell. That's really important to the channel. That gives me the help and the support to carry on with these projects. And well, this is the first one, and look how far we're into this already. There's many more to come. So this is Smoking Still Garage. We're just getting started. See you next time.